All right, so today we're going to be going over my predictions for version 3 of the beta in discussion pieces about Silver Wolf level 9s and Evanescia. And quite frankly, I mean, if we're looking at like their basic kits and everything, considered, I'm not really sure what can be changed. And I mean, truthfully, maybe Evanescia, you can like increase the damage numbers just slightly. An example would be for the ultimate, instead of 240, maybe make it 270, and then the 160 maybe make it to 180. The skill I think is honestly probably good. Gaining punchline is fine. While you want her ideally to gain certified banger, that's not what that is going to be the function of, because you also want to enable the aha instant, so you do want to get punchline, so that is just going to be where that stands. Maybe the only thing that could possibly be changed is maybe her crit rate won't be 30%, right? Maybe it'll be a little bit less. Her inherited shared exhalation, that might be a little bit less, but the fact that she gains certified banger in a pretty significant frequent fashion is pretty good. Jumping over to Silver Wolf, again, the same thing is that I'm not really sure what will change essentially, but for Silver Wolf in particular, the only thing I can see that would possibly change is her actual damage numbers. I do think that her numbers would be increased more so than Evanescia. I feel like for Evanescia to make her a little bit better, a little more refined, because of the fact that she is also going to be part of the anniversary pass, she's going to be running shoulder to shoulder next to Silver Wolf 9s, who is obviously the main push. I do think Evanescia, probably a little ease of play would be better for her, but for Silver Wolf 9s, quite frankly, based off the team she's on, how her mechanics work, I do think damage numbers probably would be a little higher in her inherent kit. Now, moving over to the light cones, something that I do think we will see, like guaranteed, I'm very confident saying guaranteed, is the numbers. For Evanescia, boosting her crit damage by 60% at S1, that is definitely going to be lowered. There's no way they're going to have a light cone deal this much crit damage for her, because she requires that crit damage to be so high. So there's no way they're going to have it be at 60%. At S1, I do think ultimately we will end up seeing a crit damage bonus of about 40% at S1 upon the completed release. The energy recharge, I think this could probably get bumped up to 15%. I can foresee that happening. For Silver Wolf 9s, I do think her attack bonus is going to be reduced, because for her trace, if you don't know, she wants her attack to exceed 2,000, but because that number is so low, just in general, typically you'd want to see maybe a little over 3,000 or something. Maybe that's something also they could probably end up doing, but boosting the attack to 64%, I also think is going to be dropped significantly at S1. Upon the final release, I can see that attack percent drop into like 48%, and ignoring enemies defense up to 18%, I can see that drop into about 10%. Jumping back over here to Evanescia, the ignore or increase the damage received by the enemies for 15% for 2 turns, I can see that also being bumped down to about 10%. So S3 is typical, or V3 is typically when we start to see some nerfs. Version 2 is mainly just wording changes, but I do foresee Silver Wolf's damage numbers being increased a little bit. I do see her attack for her trace, instead of 2,000, I can see honestly this jumping up to 3,000, just completely frank. And Evanescia, I do think her damage or her ease of play will probably be a little better, but the light cones, I do think for the most part are going to be the ones significantly impacted when it comes to version 3. There's no way that they keep the superimposition S1s for the light cones, the base stats that both of them give, this high, because if we go to S5, like Silver Wolf, that's 128% attack. There's no way that's going to happen. Same thing with crit damage for Evanescia, 150%. That's not going to happen. They are going to reduce the amount of inherent bonuses that these light cones give, because there's no way that is going to be the case. But yeah, so I do think we are going to see some significant changes when it comes to both of these characters, but I do predict that for the most part the light cone is going to be heavily impacted in version 3. Version 4 we will probably see some more reworking when it comes to their actual kits, not so much light cones, but the light cones are definitely going to be changed.